I will be talking about brain fog. Yeah, a lot of people complain that after their COVID infection, they seem to struggle with slowness of mind, sometimes extreme fatigue. It just continues even though they've tested negative, right? And all of these sort of kind of falls under this post-COVID syndrome, right? And what can we do about this? How can we prevent it? How can we minimize the effects? Okay, a lot of people think that it's like luck of the draw. Oh, you mean you had an easy COVID infection? Oh, so lucky. I heard about somebody else who had a really hard time. Yes, who knows why the reasons are, but have you noticed that those who are healthier, fitter, younger, they tend to be luckier when it comes to getting better COVID infection. Okay, so down to brain fog. What is the thing about it? Well, the truth is that they don't really know, but the leading theory is that it's caused by a cytokine storm. Cytokine is a inflammatory protein. Okay, it's a protein that's released in our immune system that causes inflammation and this inflammation helps in fact the healing, okay, for the body. But the problem is that it can cause if it doesn't clear up, it can cause longer term issues. So I'd like to explain what's this word inflammation, right? We always talk about this inflammation and then anti-inflammation. What is inflammation about? So I have the best, of course, is to go back to New Skin, and this is Dr. Joe Chang talking about it.
And most importantly, mechanisms regulating inflammatory balance. So let's look at this mechanism more closely.
In order to stay youthful, regulation of inflammatory balance is one of the most important aging defense mechanisms because it helps repair and protect us from damage throughout the body. Here's how it works. When damage occurs, the body responds with a complex acute inflammatory response by recruiting the appropriate repair processes to the site of damage. The new macrophages then send out more chemical messengers, including cytokines and chemokines, to alert more white blood cells to participate in the inflammatory response. Collectively, this inflammatory process causes the blood vessels to enlarge and become more permeable, which allows the appropriate repair processes to proceed. Once the repair process is complete, the inflammatory response is turned off. However, if the inflammatory response lingers too long, does not turn off, or the system misfires, inflammation persists when it is not needed. This chronic, low-grade inflammation accelerates aging.
Okay, so there you have the science of inflammation and why it's a problem, right? We're mostly used to inflammation to do with, let's say, like our joints or muscles and things like that. But actually, inflammation, the important parts is that it can affect our bronchioles, it can affect our skin, of course, it can affect our blood vessels. Okay, so that is where you really have
most important.
Okay, so what is this inflammation about? Okay, it says here that when it is good, all right, it helps fight off foreign invaders, heals injuries, and mops up debris. But when it's bad, okay, inflammation ignites a long list of disorders: arthritis, asthma, atherosclerosis, blindness, cancer, diabetes, and quite possibly autism and mental illness. Now, this one, I got it from a study, okay, by searching Google. So the inflammation is useful, it's part of our immune system, but the problem comes when we have chronic inflammation, right? So inflammation balance is the thing that is really important for us. And the good news is that there is no better product for inflammation balance than Y-Span. Yeah, absolutely, Y-Span. And why? Because, you know, I've told you that Y-Span is like comprises of 12 anti-aging superheroes, right? And almost all of them have got anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, I'm going to show you the list of the 12 anti-aging heroes. I'm going to show you how what my research on Google says about each of these in terms of anti-inflammation. Okay, so you know vitamin D3, it says anti-inflammatory. Omega-3, we know that it's really an important anti-inflammatory supplement, right? But what about the citrus bioflavonoid? It is also good for radical scavenging, antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. What's radical scavenging? Okay, these are the free radicals that are released during our metabolic process, okay, the cellular metabolism. So then it's being scavenged, it's being removed, okay, from the equation. Purple corn, in fact, Google says it has been shown in purple corn has been shown in numerous studies to have potent antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-mutagenic, anti-carcinogenic, anti-angiogenesis properties. In other words, besides all of the anti-inflammatory, is also great for anti-cancer and cancer treatment, okay? Anti-angiogenesis. Alpha lipoic acid, anti-inflammatory. Quercetin, okay? Anti-inflammatory. D-limonene, significant anti-inflammatory effects. So you can see the list of anti-inflammatory goes through all 12 products, right? Rosemary leaf extract, resveratrol, coenzyme Q10, lycopene, astaxanthin, right? So because of all of this, it's such an important product, okay? It's so important in our fight against anything that may have a that may stem, any issue that may stem from chronic inflammation. Okay, and now, so you may say, wow, how do we solve this chronic inflammation? Well, it's not just about Y-Span, though it's one of the big weapons that we have, but chronic inflammation often comes from diet. So we need to reduce some of the inflammatory things from our diet. And one of the most important culprits is actually sugar. Okay, besides that, trans fat, dairy, sadly, I like that. Okay, red meat, alcohol, refined grains. Now, if you were to cut this all out from your, diet, no need to eat lah, right? No need to live, right? So we continue to do that. Okay, eat wisely, eat with moderation, and then use Y-Span. Now, Y-Span, if you don't already know, is 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. Okay, but you know, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm really struggling with brain fog, or I'm struggling with fatigue post-COVID, then one of the things is that you can help them get out of this. And I would then recommend a double dosage of Y-Span, which is 4 in the morning, 4 in the evening. You know, when I was in Utah, you may be wondering whether it's a bit too much. When I was in Utah, I met Dale Kern, who is one of the 75 scientists And he says that he takes 14 wingspan a day, you know, and he really looked good. Okay, all of us, wow, we took photos with him because he had baby soft skin, you know. So yeah, that may be another key for frozen skin, right? Okay. Now I tell you this also because although COVID is coming down, but you know, it's still of major concern for us, right? In a study of 3,000 people in 56 countries, okay, across 56 countries, 31% say that they struggle with brain fog in the first week of COVID infection. But the worst part is that after 3 months of the COVID infection, 2/3 say they struggle with brain fog. In other words, this brain fog seems to have become worse, even though they were now testing COVID negative. And then they said, it seemed to then peak after 6 months, and in the 7th month, it's only 55% of people say that they struggle with this. But the question is this, you know, 1 in 2 people not functioning at your best after 6 months, that's a very sad way to live life, right? So now that you are equipped with this knowledge and information,